Tonight, abortion rights taking center stage, with multiple races testing its political power to motivate voters. In Ohio, voters said yes to a ballot measure enshrining the right to abortion in the state constitution.
We believe that everyone should have, their rights protected as much as possible, and this preborn human should have their right to life protected.
It's been a bitter battle, with abortion rights advocates claiming the ballot language is intentionally confusing. Abortion rights supporters coming off of a string of election wins since Roe v. Wade was overturned. Democrats hoping the issue motivates their base amid President Biden's dismal approval ratings.
Women and families all across this country are being heard loud and clear that we do not support the overturn of Roe v. Wade.
And a major test in Virginia, where control of the state legislature is up for grabs.
The number one issue we hear across the Commonwealth is the concerns about Biden's inflation and that it's stealing their hard-earned money.
A Republican win would raise the national profile of Governor Glenn Youngkin. Republican control could also clear the way for Youngkin and the legislature to implement a 15-week abortion ban, with exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Meanwhile, in Kentucky, incumbent Democratic Governor Andy Beshear fending off a challenge from Republican Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Beshear leaned heavily into the abortion issue as part of his campaign, bashing the state's near-total ban, which may have helped him hold on to the office.
And Lester, we're also watching Mississippi, where Democrats are making an aggressive push to unseat incumbent Governor Tate Reeves in a state that hasn't gone blue in nearly 2 decades. His Democratic challenger, Brandon Presley, is a cousin of rock legend Elvis. Lester?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.